In this video, I'm going to show you how to add a contributor to your Squarespace website. This is really handy if you have a team member who needs access to certain things on your website, or if you've hired a web designer or developer who needs access as well. I'm going to demonstrate this using our Mangrove template. So the first thing we're going to do is click over here into the menu area, press / on our keyboard to bring up the search bar, and then search for permissions. And that will bring us to the permissions and ownership settings. Now you'll notice that we have two buttons here. We can invite a contributor or we can add a basic author. Adding a basic author is a great feature to have if you have people writing guest posts for your blog. So if you want to attribute authorship of a blog post to someone else without giving them any login permissions to your website, this is the option that you would choose. Otherwise, if you want to give someone access to the back end of your website, you would click Invite Contributor. Now, if you have two-factor authentication set up on your Squarespace account, which you definitely should for security reasons, the first thing you'll need to do is enter your authentication code here. So I'm going to enter mine, click Verify, and then you'll see the Invite Contributor panel pop up. And the first thing you'll want to do is add the name and email address of the contributor. So I'm going to add test name, test@test.com. And then you can select the permissions that you want to give this person. And there are a bunch of different options. If you want to give someone access to everything on your website except the ability to transfer ownership, you would want to make them an administrator. If you have a business manager who only needs access to the billing information on your website, you can give them billing permission. You can make someone a website editor, which means that they can edit any website content. You can give them analytics permissions, which gives them access to your website analytics. You can make them a comment moderator on your blog. You also have the option to make someone a viewer. So if your website is set to private and it's not actually published and publicly available, you can give someone private access to that so that they can preview what you're working on. If you sell on Squarespace, you can make someone a store manager, which means that they can manage orders, edit store content, and receive store notifications. If you have someone who works specifically on your email campaigns, you can give them access to Squarespace email campaigns. And if you use Squarespace scheduling, you can make someone a scheduling administrator, which means that they can view and manage appointments and settings for scheduling. You can give them access to scheduling, view, and edit, which means that they can view and edit assigned calendars. And you can also allow them a view-only access to your scheduling platform. You can also select multiple options. So for example, if you have a marketing person that does your email campaigns, but maybe they also manage your store, you can just toggle both of those options on and they'll get both of those permissions. But if you're working with a developer or a designer of some kind, generally speaking, it's easiest just to give them admin access. That way they can view and edit the code on your website. So once you select the permissions that you want to give, just click invite, and that will send an email to the person that you're inviting. They can click to accept it, and then your website will be listed in their Squarespace dashboard so that they can access whatever they need to have access to. Now, it's worth noting that website editors and store managers will be able to purchase licensed assets. So for example, if they wanted to purchase a paid stock photo from Unsplash through Squarespace, they would be able to do that. You can choose to allow non-admins to purchase assets, or you can toggle this off if you don't want them to be able to do that. And then one final thing I wanted to point out is that you have the option to transfer ownership of your website. So if you ever wanted to give control of your website to another person, you can simply transfer ownership to that person once they've accepted a contributor invitation. And if you're transferring ownership, you would definitely want to invite them as an admin. So these settings give you granular control over who has access to what on the back end of your Squarespace website. And it's much more secure than sharing your Squarespace login details. You should never, ever share the password to your Squarespace account. Always invite contributors, developers, admins, business partners through the permissions and ownership settings. This is the most secure way to do that, and it's going to keep your website safe.